All right, ladies and gentlemen, hope y'all can see me well. As you see, I'm not in my usual location. Actually, I'm coming to you live today from Las Vegas, Nevada, out here in the desert. I've been taking a little vacation of some sort, taking a load off of some of the things that I do, trying to enjoy myself. And I must say that within this 3 hours that I've been here, Vegas has been very, very welcoming, very pleasing, considering the people, the check-in and everything like that, the energy and the staff. Um, I must say that definitely it's definitely a different experience. But I want to talk to you about something real quick because I just left Kansas City this morning, and shout out to Kansas City. My family down there had a Black History program yesterday. It was awesome, phenomenal. You probably be seeing some pictures about that. But something catches my eye every time I travel. Once again, whether it's places like Kansas City, um, Memphis, Tennessee, Atlanta, Cleveland, Norfolk, Virginia, Maryland, D.C., Philly, Delaware. Everywhere I go, and depending on where I stop, I always can see uh, something or a store that looks like this, if you can see it. Now, this is a gas station in Kansas City where I stopped to get some gas at. But if you see this store, it looks like the average store, whether it's in Goldsboro, North Carolina, St. Louis, Missouri, uh, New Orleans, Louisiana. All of these corner stores pretty much look the same, and more often than not, they're owned by someone who is not originally from the United States. Now, when I came up, we used to call them Arab stores because, to our recollection or, in our ignorance, we thought every foreigner who owned the store came from Arabia, whether Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq. If they was a foreigner and they spoke with Middle Eastern or Eastern dialect, they was automatically an Arab. And now things have ventured out. We have East Indians, we have various Middle Easterners and Western Europe populations coming here and opening up these convenience stores, these gas stations, BP. And the question comes to mind is, why is there such a monopoly on these establishments, especially a lot of times in neighborhoods of color or underprivileged neighborhoods? You can go in any quote unquote hood in America. You can go into the corner store, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a foreigner, an immigrant who is on the store. So I had to think about why, and I looked up some research. Of course, they tell you that the immigrants who come over, they have the entrepreneurial spirit. They are willing to put in the long hours and hard work to make their business thrive, which is true. But also they don't hardly mention that it is easier for people from foreign lands to get loans to acquire these stores because they have no credit history, that is, in America. So they're easy to be able to acquire those loans and get the stores, which are not very expensive to open up. They don't cost a lot of money as far as startup costs, and they begin to expand and expand and expand and expand, even inviting relatives over to work together. And then the next thing you know, their relative has a store on the other side of town. Now, once again, this is not a knock on these individuals who come into the community in America and see an opportunity and are willing to grasp that opportunity. However, we still must ask ourselves, at the expense of who are, they making their money, and what are they making their money on? Now, if you look at this picture, you can go once again to any store in America and you see this same image. They have the lottery tickets, they have the cigars, the cigarettes, the beers, the vapes, and this one they even have, of course, weed is legal in Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken. So they have the scales, the pipes, the sex pills, the toboggans, the do-rags, the cigars again. They have so much information, there's so many products, weed hats, that just cater to a certain population. And once again, you see this guy, and I'm going to tell you what happened when I took this picture. Now, that guy, he looks, I would say, East Indian, or, he may be, Pakistani. I don't know, so I don't want to. But this is what happened. So I'm taking a picture. I took a picture. I backed up and took another picture, and he stood up. He stood up and like, what are you taking the pictures for? What are you doing taking the picture? So I was like, well, I'm just doing a little tour. I'm not from here, so I'm just taking the documentation of everywhere I've been and things like that. So, that's all. And then I asked him, because unfortunately, can see, as you can see here, he has a picture of, some black girls who were apparently, they may have took something out the store. But once again, it just, not saying stealing is right. Don't get me wrong. Stealing is definitely wrong. But, him having a picture up there denigrating these little black girls, I'm pretty sure they didn't rob the place of $100,000. They probably might have took some candy or whatever. But he has them up there like they're hardened criminals. So that's what I say. Okay, well, what you ask me why I'm taking pictures? Why do you have those pictures of those young ladies up there? And then the black lady in the store, she walking up to the camera. They've been in here stealing. And I'm looking at her like, of course I know that. But the way he got them up there is, not, I'm pretty sure it's not equatable to the crime or the amount of merchandise they stole. However, so now I'm backing up, I'm walking out the store. Now, we have the exchange. So I get to the door, and it's another lady trying to come in. So I get to the door and push the door. The door is locked. The door is locked. And so I'm looking at him like, oh, so you're going to lock me in here for trying to take a picture? And so he opened the door because it was another customer coming in. But that also, once again, like, this man was ready to lock the door on me and call the police, or maybe even, come out with some, whatever, because I took a picture of the store. I didn't commit a crime. I didn't do anything. But this is how suspicious he was of me. But if I would live there, he would be in my neighborhood. He takes my money. He sells goods to people that look like me on a day-to-day basis. And plus, once again, if you see the setup, there's a bulletproof glass in the way. Like, he's protected, so he's letting you know he don't want nothing to do with you. There's a little slot and a slit, which a lot of them are doing now, where they take your money at, and then, that's it. Do you want a bag? Barely asked me did I want a bag when I brought my snacks, right? But nevertheless, this is something that, has always perturbed me, because as a lot of people, and I think my brother Tim Whitfield, he tried to do a little movement a year or two ago where he asked people to boycott the lighthouse. Because once again, the lighthouse are owned, if I'm not mistaken, by people who are not from here, but they serve the majority of black people. Black people spend a lot of money in that store, and as he mentioned, none of that money comes back to the community. I think he asked them to donate a certain amount of money to a cause and they refuse. And that's why he brought it to our attention, which meaning blacks in the community who spends money there. Listen, we're spending all this money with them. They're not giving us anything back. And that is a major economic issue all around, not just in Goldsboro, but I thank my brother for bringing that to light, because that is a major issue around the United States. And once again, you can think of all of the corner stores, Arab stores, whatever you want to call them, in Goldsboro. We have what used to be Donnell's, we have Manhattan's, we have Bob's, we have, the joint on George and M. We have about 2 or 3 on William Street. The D and H Mart. There's just so many, I can't even name them. The one in the white store, the old projects, and we've just been accustomed to giving them our money on a day-to-day basis, and the money doesn't circulate in our community. Once again, I can't knock them for being wise and business savvy, because if we're going to continue on to just patronize these stores and even not open them ourselves, then there's no excuse for them not to get the money. But where did this phenomenon come from? Because back when I was in elementary school, I remember leaving from Dillard School right before the bus came, and I would run to Mr. Gregory's store and get me 4 or 5 little 25-cent brownies and make it back before the bus comes so I can have some snacks to get home. Or, I remember going to Caraway's, the store, in the projects, and also Pete and Rosa's. Pete and Rosa's Mini Mart was on Elm Street, and then it got took over by the D and H Mart or whatever, the D and C, whatever it's called. But so my issue is what happened to all of the black entrepreneurs that used to own those corner stores, and why have and I'm pretty sure, like I said, that's across the American diaspora, because we were store owners, we were shopkeepers, we were marketplace people at one time, and all of a sudden there's been an influx of people who were not born here, immigrants, coming to take that position. So I just wanted to bring that to light. What are we going to do about it? Or are we just going to once again continue on spending our money with people who don't give us nothing in return? And if that is the case, then so be it. But once again, I have to commend my brother Tim Whitfield for bringing that to the attention, because it's amazing how much we go to that store, that Lighthouse, but you don't see an influx of foreigners going to the soul food restaurants, or maybe I don't know. I don't own a soul food restaurant, so I don't know. But you don't see an influx of Chinese people going to the black-owned business or the black barbershops, or the black churches, because I think that's 2 of the businesses that barbershops, beauty salons, and churches. I think that's the only thing that we think makes money. And shout out to the barbers and the beauty salon. There's no knock on y'all and the preachers, but there has to be more of an industry-minded mindset. Because we do these things, we use these things, and we can produce and sell these things and bring money into our community off our own people, rather than, once again, once I just never seen a Chinese person eat at a black restaurant every day. I don't see a lot of Chinese people going to the Jamaican restaurant or the African restaurant, and maybe they do, what I'm saying? I don't see a lot of, Hispanic brothers going to the soul food restaurant. They patronize their own. So if we don't have anything to patronize, and shout out to the to the ones that we have, the Artist Daily Breads and the Breads of Heavens, and all of the other restaurants that attempt to be of service to the community. Then a lot of those restaurants don't last because they don't get the support that, you know, they may get, or others may get if it were something. Oh, there's a new Dominican restaurant. Oh, there's a new Mexican restaurant. Oh, there's a new, you know, Cuban restaurant downtown. There's a new, but you know, then they got a soul food restaurant over there. You been? Nah, I ain't been yet, man. I'm gonna check it out. You know, there's not a lot of excitement, you know, or not as much of excitement when you see a new Popeye spring up, you know, or whatever the case may be. That's just something that struck me actually last time I went to Kansas City, because I stopped to get some gas. As soon as I pulled in, I'm like, am I in Norfolk? You know what I'm saying? Am I at Donnell's? Because it just seemed like the same crowd, the same type of people, you know, go to those stores, and it's like, man, I feel like I haven't even left home, because I go in the store and it's the same advertisement, the same lottery, the same cigarettes, the same setup, and it feels like I'm walking in Groundhog's Day. But nevertheless, I am about to. Y'all think on that, and y'all let me know. Y'all comment in the video 919-587-7782. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this phenomenon. Why is that? Why are stores once again like Donnell's? Donnell's, I guess, was so prevalent of a businessman that they still call that store Donnell's, and here it is. I don't know. It's been owned by foreigners for at least 30 years, I know. But that, once again, is the legacy of people who were entrepreneurs and businessmen and things like that. And so, yeah, we definitely want to tap back into that energy, because, I just remember, once again, just being, sometimes how they treat you when you walk in those stores. You spend your money, they barely say two words to you, and they look at you like, you're a suspect. That's not where I want to spend my money at. But, and not all of the shopkeepers are like that. But, you have to look at, why things are the way they are, and, how do they get to be that way? And so we have to take responsibility on both sides to really come to realize, or the realization that, we have an obligation to bring resources into our community and keep money influxing in our community, rather than just giving people money, and that money, we never see that money again. But, the rich get richer, and, we keep getting blunts and cigarettes and beer and, toboggans and whatever, you know what I'm saying? But peace and blessings, 919-587-7782. Y'all be blessed.